The human experience is changing. It always has. But something about this moment feels different. The pace, it's not just increasing, but it's accelerating. And the world is changing faster than most of us can even comprehend. For example, a letter used to take 6 months to get from the east to the west coast of the US. Now ideas circulate the planet multiple times in a fraction of a second. We've become connected to everything all at once. Every opinion, every crisis, every single breakthrough, instantly a notification in our pocket. The biggest stories in the world are now even lucky to hold our attention for more than a week before it's replaced by the next one. And because the world we've built is changing so quickly, the question of what it means to be a human is changing with it. AI is the clearest example of this. Most conversations about AI revolve around jobs. Will it replace us? Which careers are safe? What skills should we learn? And those are reasonable questions, but I don't think they're the deepest ones. Whether AI replaces half of the jobs or all of them, it actually doesn't matter. What it is exposing is how much of ourselves we tie to what we do. That is the real disruption. It's not economical, it's philosophical. For a long time, society has handed us the blueprint. Go to school, get a job, climb the ladder, and retire. And nothing is inherently wrong with that, and plenty of people find amazing, beautiful, meaningful lives inside of that. But somewhere along the way, the blueprint stopped being a tool and it became an identity. We didn't work to survive. We started using work to explain our lives. If someone asked who you are, you'd probably end up replying with your job. And that's what makes AI feel so unsettling. Not because it's threatening our income, because it's forcing us to ask the question that we've been postponing for decades. Who are you when your job isn't enough to explain that question? The skill that nobody has taught us. I think the real shift we're living through is it's becoming harder to outsource the direction of our lives. For generations, we've been taught to follow instructions, from teachers to institutions to bosses, our parents. Every step of the way, someone's been there to hand us the next step. And very few people have actually taught us how to build an inner compass, how to make a decision when no one else knows the answer, how to recognize that quiet feeling that says, this matters, before you can even explain why. And that is becoming one of the most valuable human skills that there is. And it's not because these institutions are disappearing. It's because they can no longer answer the questions that matter. The internet contains almost every fact you would ever need. Information is abundant, but direction isn't. Knowing what to build, who to become, what is a life worth living? These are the questions that are still up to us. And that's why this moment isn't asking us to become more machine-like. It's asking us to become more human. And if this is true, then success is going to start looking different. The first thing we need to do is redefine wealth. Money matters. It creates opportunity, security, and freedom. But wealth has never been just about financials. A person that has meaningful relationships, good health, lives with a sense of purpose, has something that money can't buy. Money is an incredible tool, but it's a poor definition of life. Protect the things that make money worth having in the first place. The next thing is we need to create more than we consume. We've built an economy that evolves around attention. Our phones, the news, streaming, all of these algorithms engineered to keep us watching. Consumption isn't bad. It's incomplete. The people who seem most alive aren't just intaking information, they're transforming it. A conversation becomes an idea. A trip becomes a story. A book becomes a new project. Creativity is not something just for artists. It's a habit of taking something internal and giving it form. When you spend more time making than consuming, you stop observing and you start participating in life. The next thing is, learn to follow your breadcrumbs. Most of us experience moments in life that do not make logical sense. A place we want to go visit for no reason. An idea that just keeps coming up in your brain. Someone that you feel compelled to reach out to. We dismiss these moments because they don't feel like they're a part of the plan. And maybe they're not supposed to be. But your life is not going to unfold in a straight line. It'll look a lot like connecting random dots. Not every breadcrumb leads to an important place, but ignoring all of them guarantees you'll end up living someone else's version of a meaningful life. The next thing is, remember who you've always been. I don't think we're as empty as we're led to believe. Most people are not missing an identity. Our identities are buried beneath expectations. The kid who loves to build still loves to build. The kid who used to organize games still loves to be a leader. The kid who couldn't stop drawing on everything still has that itch to draw. Whatever came easily and joyfully back then before anyone told you it wasn't practical. And maybe maturing is less about becoming someone new, but being honest to recognize who we've been all along. And with that, build with other people. The future is becoming increasingly digital, and that makes human connections even that much more valuable. Start conversations, host gatherings, join clubs, collaborate on ideas. Some of the richest experiences in life don't come from finding a perfect opportunity. They come from creating things alongside people who care about the same things you do. And this brings me to the choice that we have. AI is not forcing us to ask what machines can do. It's asking us what humans are for. If intelligence becomes easier to access, then perhaps our greatest advantage is not intelligence. Maybe it's taste, curiosity, courage, love, friendship, wonder, the ability to choose a direction without waiting for permission. Technology will continue to change the world. It always has. But underneath every technological revolution has been the same human question. What makes a good life? No algorithm can answer that for you. No institution can discover that on your behalf. And no productivity system can automate that for you. The answer isn't hidden somewhere out there. It's built through paying attention to your own life. Through noticing what energizes you, what keeps returning, and what feels quietly true before anyone else tells you it makes sense. The future will reward people who learn how to use AI, but I think it'll reward people who do something even deeper, which is people who know themselves well enough to decide what all of this new capability is actually for. Because the greatest risk isn't that machines become more capable, It's that we forget what makes the human being worth protecting in the first place. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video. If you want more of this type of shit, I'm going to link my Substack and go check it out.